Hey everyone, welcome to Infocomm 24. It's AVonAir. We're here at the Midwich Group booth, C8022. If you're in the hall, come check us out. Joe Dunbar here. I've got, of course, with me as always, Louis Robinson out of the UK, Midwich distributor, and Kaz Pearman. Did I get that?
That's right.
Did I get that right? DCE, right?
That is me. It
and
is.
I just made some assumptions that Kaz and Louis knew each other because they talk similarly.
We're from this really small place.
Yes.
Called the UK.
Yes.
That
You
little
may have heard
island
of
in
it.
the sea.
It's a country that's about as big as like the town that I'm from, you know. So it's like,
Possibly, I don't know.
yeah, right. So I just assumed that they knew each other, but you guys did not know each other. You
No,
had
we
not
don't.
met-
We've
okay.
met about
What
probably
a-
4 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
but
a-
we've covered most things, from tea to, you know,
We've
the
got a lot in
flight, the
common
journey.
already.
I mean, we
Yeah.
always talk about the journey.
So now you know each other
We
well.
do.
Yeah.
We do. I think we're...
Well, ignorant assumption by me. Kaz, tell us a little bit what you're doing at Infocomm, what you're here.
Yeah.
But we're ignorant. You gotta
Okay,
you
I
gotta
love
teach
it.
us
Educate
all.
us.
I
Yes,
love it. So
yes.
I work with DCE agency, so we've got some booths here. So
Okay.
that's one of my many hats that I like to call myself. That's like my job title, really. Many hats, one voice. Because regardless of the industry that I'm working in, so we were here back in April for NAB, and my guys were building booths there. That is one of the hats that I work in. So I work in and around the world of broadcast, film, cinematography, AV.
Sure.
In that space, bringing people together like this, connecting one another, and that brings me joy. And then another hat is talking all things mental health and well-being, and talking about neurodiversity.
This is your touch and base for both
it's
of us
super
right
key
here.
these days. Now, isn't it?
yeah,
It's something
so-
that we never used to focus on enough, and now
Yeah.
people are starting to talk about it. It's
They
really
are.
refreshing to see that in the industry.
Absolutely, and I think I'm going to be doing a panel. I'm just going to flag that up now on
Yeah,
Friday.
absolutely.
Yeah.
What day and time? Tell the people. When is it?
What
So
time?
When and where?
we're going to be at the Avixa Exchange Live, which is in the West Hall, which is a
Yep,
bit
yep.
of a walk, I know, from here. You can get in the loop to get there, but it's fine. We're just behind Row, and I'm going to be moderating a panel with two incredible people who I've got to meet this week. I've never met before, only had a Zoom, and yeah, I feel very honoured to be part of it. And my aim in it is to tell stories, and it's not about a massive PowerPoint presentation. Although the guy, the
I'm
AV
sure there
guy,
is a PowerPoint
I know
presentation.
he wanted
It
a PowerPoint.
sneaks itself in.
He was like, "You
Sneaks
mean there's no
itself in.
PowerPoint presentation?" I was like, "No, but I can give you something." So we have two images.
Visuals are important. That's
Visuals,
good.
I get that. So it means they're not looking at me or the panel. So the two visuals I have, the first one is the iceberg. It's like the top of the iceberg versus what is underneath. And I think in whatever sector, and particularly in AV, everyone's going to look on the top. I go, "You look fine. You look great.
Sure.
You're
That's on the
wonderful,
surface,
right? You're really good. You've made it into work today. Fantastic." What's going on underneath? That person is struggling. They don't know who to talk to. They're having a crisis of some sort with their mental health, whether it be neurodiversity. That impacts labour turnover, absenteeism. So it's just looking at that as a reflective. And then I'm going to cue PowerPoint presentation 2
Sure.
and talk about the compass. And for me, that's again another industry thing. Like here, so the compass, the North Star, so to speak, is the leadership, what they can do, and East-West is like, who are your allies, who's your advocates,
I like this.
and then the people below, so to speak, it's like, who are you mentoring, who can you help? And I think from a leadership perspective, it's not about money, it's genuinely a community of people that get one another, and for me it's a tribe. And you find your tribe of people, you feel safe,
Totally.
and you're gonna start talking. And you don't necessarily need to tell the whole organization, but even if you just have one person that's your safe person, for me, and I get quite emotional, and I won't now, and I promise I won't, but for me that's
It's
what
a
it's
safe space here.
exactly.
100%.
Thank
Friends
you.
here, it's all
Exactly.
about
I know we're
so
best
much
friends
food.
now. I mean, we're gonna
Yeah,
be
right,
Facebook
right.
buddies, Instagram later.
We get the Instagram loop in a minute, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, can we
absolutely.
do that? We'll do a little
Oh, we're gonna
story, a
have
little
to.
bit of a reel.
There we go.
But for me, that's what it's all about. It's connecting with safe people, and I don't need to have a badge of honor to kind of go, "Yay! Look at me! I'm a proud da 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 da."
Sure.
That's not what you don't want to shout about it. For so many people, they feel like they have the spotlight already on them.
Right.
Like they're going into work, they are fighting against the tide of other people seem to be able to cope, and it's like, how can you cope? What are you doing differently? Why is it me, and that sense of enabling people to thrive and come to work and be their authentic self. And
it's so hard. Like, you walk into work, right? You got KPIs, you got targets, you got
exactly.
so much, like you say, you kind of walk into work and feel alone.
Yes.
But you're not. You're part of a team, and it's nice to be able to go, do you know what? Let's reset the clock a little bit here.
Exactly.
Let's walk in and let's come to work professional, but for each other.
Absolutely.
Because we are better as a team, and we're better when we look after each other.
Absolutely.
And we're all people, right? We've
Exactly.
all dealing
Absolutely.
with whatever it is behind
Our
the scenes.
stuff and our ice below our iceberg
the
below,
iceberg,
right?
below the sea level.
Absolutely.
We really have been bonding over this. A couple of neurodivergent folks here between Louie and I. Right. So
Three.
Right.
Okay.
As I say, it's very much a safe space, and we laugh,
Yeah.
but like for sure. And I'm gonna try so hard to not sound like I'm tooting the Midwich group horn or anything like that, but honestly, you know, I've worked for Starin for 5-6 years at this point. We've been part of the group for most of that time now, and the Midwich group is so cognizant and aware of wanting to make sure that down to the person and all the way up to the company brand and then the group brand, that it's like inclusive and everybody is being leveraged in a way that like makes sense for them in their life. That's where you find some professional fulfillment.
Absolutely.
Right?
And you know, you are so much more than your identity, and I think that is really important to have that. Another analogy I use, which is not my own, is working, you know, having a Microsoft versus an Apple.
Sure.
Yeah, and you put a Microsoft in, you know, in an application within an Apple, it's not going to work.
You can't expect fish to fly, right?
Exactly.
I'm with you.
That's it. So, and I think for so many people, that's how they feel. And I think for some organisation, it feels like, oh, mental health. What does that look like? What do I need to do? You know, I need to go on a course, or I need to do this. It's like, no, it's all about the conversation. It's about the, as you were saying, you know, being aligned with others, that you kind of go, this culture fits. You know, you're not fighting against the tide, because that's exhausting. And as you know, when you've got ADHD, my daughter has autism, and so I work for myself, which means I can create my own culture, which is brilliant.
Nice.
So I can choose to work with people that selfishly bring me joy.
You know what?
You've got to make life what you want.
That's it.
Say, when you get lemons, make lemonade.
Oh, man.
That's so true. We can go down the whole picture line. I'm so visually orientated in audio, so and not everybody gets that, and everybody just goes, yeah, I'm fine, and you're like, no, you're not. Or this classic, you know, when like my daughter comes home from college and things, she'll just say, look, I'm tired. Tired covers an umbrella.
Yeah, that means a million things.
I've been masking, and again, like at work, I've had to fit into an environment. I haven't been able to have a lunch break because the culture says I can't do a lunch break. I don't know if I can ask someone to do that.
Right.
I'm working ridiculous hours. I've had to go on the tube or on the train in order to get that. All those noises and sensory things. And then you're sitting down at a desk all day, and you've got to fit.
Boom.
And how long are you going to do that? Absolutely. And I don't know about you, but for me, COVID was a real reset moment, and I think for so many people,
for a lot of folks,
absolutely, because you're thriving, because people are in their safe places at home, and they were working probably more than you would do in the office, because you know, most
switching off as well, right?
Yeah,
like, because you constantly go. But like, so COVID for me, it was a real strange one. Like, as a youngster, it's hard to believe now, seeing as me and you are always in front of the camera. But as a youngster, I suffered so hard with social anxiety. I couldn't do anything in front of people. Like, if someone said to me, "You're doing the school play," I was like, "No." Like, I'm running a mile. Now, completely changed. But COVID. Oh, it was so hard for me to go into that lockdown, stuck in a house, to then going straight back into the fire.
Were you one of the folks who like hesitated to turn their camera on early on in the whole thing? I feel like there was a lot of that.
Absolutely, and the pressure.
Behind it a bit.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
But the pressure.
Behind, like, yes. I'm not in person, but I get that, like the pressure of loads of people going, well, once upon a time I was in person, now I'm not, and my home too, you're now seeing into my home.
That's so true.
I love
the vulnerability.
Yeah, you're now in my safe space.
I love this.
Yeah, that's so true. I hadn't thought about that. That's a really good point.
We work really hard to like maintain an environment, especially when we're working on internal stuff, and we've got all these new companies coming in now, and it's like, how do I interact with these people? It's like, look, these are your colleagues. You're working with them every day. You're probably going to get to see a little more, I don't want to say like a down and dirty version of me, but a little more authentic version that's a little less polished. And I love seeing that. And I'm not trying to like see if your bed isn't made in the background or whatever.
Or how many books you've got on the row behind you, all in alphabetical order.
And have you even read that? No,
exactly.
Right? But like my dog, when I'm on a call, my dog is in my lap. And you'd never know until he pokes his head up. And then everybody wants to like know about my dog.
Yeah, I have the same thing. He's my weighted blanket.
Yes, same.
And so he's a Cocker Spaniel, so he'll sit there and then he'll have his face here. So I'm like this the whole time.
But nobody knows.
Nobody knows, and I think you're so right. But I mean, going back to the effort that, you know, most neurodivergent people can do their work probably in, let's just say, 4 hours versus a whole day of 8 hours.
Right.
Because when they're focused and they're on, they get it done, there's no distractions. And I think for some people it's like, well, we need to see you for 8 hours in the office to see that you're working.
Yeah. Does the result matter, or does like the time put in matter?
Absolutely, because effectively they're just the dollar, right? That's all that person is seen as, or the pound. And again, going back to where we started with, about seeing that person as their authentic selves, bring their true selves to that place,
and like their real value.
Yeah. And you can't do that with
that's
everyone.
Not a dollar amount.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't do that with everybody. Not everybody can reveal. You don't want to be revealing yourself to everybody. That's not what it's about. But I think, again, going back to the compass, those people that you can have a mentor or is mentoring you and is your ally and advocate, then have the voice to say, do you know what, I'm really struggling at the moment. How can I
advocate? Advocacy, I think, is like the theme out of here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I heard the other day, I'm going to get really corny now and start talking about song lyrics.
Please do.
I was listening to a song the other day, and it was literally, I can't remember the line exactly, but it was, you can't put $1 on a peace of mind. And it's so true. You cannot put a value on someone being able to come into an environment and go, I can be me, I can do me, and I can do it to the best of the ability. No coercing into a space, just let them be them, let them do them, you be you, make it happen, because that's the best you're ever going to be. Right?
This industry, I honestly, like, part of the reason I've worked in this industry for over 20 years now, and I'm a relatively young guy, so like I've been doing it since I was my teenager.
I was going to say, how old are you?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you'd never guess.
He's got honestly, a good moisturising regime.
I got jet lag. Like my skin is like awful at the moment.
He's had me down by the pool going, look, for the perfect glow, just rotate now, and then moisturise, and then roll and moisturise.
Exfoliate, darling.
That's
Exfoliate.
So I've been in this industry for a long time, and more so, I mean, I've worked for Fortune 100 corporations in this kind of niche, and a lot of recognizable brand names and some smaller ones. And the theme that I always find throughout AV is like, this is sort of a land of misfit folks.
Yeah.
And when we get new people, I'm so excited to be like, look, you can be your real self here. Like, you got hired because you bring value in this way or that way, and it comes with who you are as a person, and we want that too.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to plug a little bit of a podcast that I've done.
Well, that's what we're here for.
We're here for, yeah.
Give them all
so
the
it's
name
called,
and numbers.
yeah, and I'll send you it later. It's called Wired Differently.
Okay.
And so in that I was just having, again, a really low-key conversation, and it's done really, really well, and I'm so proud of it. But what has been really interesting to me, so I got a little QR code with a badge on it, and I had it attached to my bag, and I was at a trade show in London not that long ago, and there's me being me, so I'm unmasking, so to speak, being vulnerable,
figuring out what you can let out
and
as
I
it
thought,
goes.
okay, this is going to be all right. But I had someone, and obviously won't name names, he came up to me and kind of looked at it and goes, huh, surely that just should say weird, not wired. I was broken, because I know it's like they're funny, but that was me trying to unmask.
Sure.
And go,
yeah. You're being vulnerable there.
Exactly. And so you kind of think, and these are people who are doing the talk. They are doing all the mental health stuff. They're talking about it. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, think about the context.
Really?
And the
You're
tone
saying
there.
that to me? And I was so shocked and taken back, but then I just thought, no, that just goes to show there's so much more we need to talk about. And I think the more we talk about it, the more kindness that I want to come from this. And then people to have compassion. Because you got to stand, that's the difference, like with empathy and compassion. It's like, I empathize with you because I know and I experience, but compassion, you come alongside someone.
Yeah.
And in the AV industry, and you're so blessed to have the culture that you have, not everybody has that opportunity.
Very much.
So it's like, we have got so much to do, so much education, so much talking, so much storytelling.
I love your passion for it because we share it. So
Okay.
I'm just very like-minded.
Yeah.
What time? You said you're speaking tomorrow. What time is that?
Friday.
It's Friday.
Yeah,
Okay, what
Friday
time?
morning. I'm moderating at 10:30
At the
in the West Hall at
in the
Exchange
West Hall
Live.
at the Exchange Live, at Vix Exchange Live. So 10:30. I don't know what our schedule looks like, but for sure I'm going to try and make
Try and
that.
swing
We
over,
want to.
yeah. We're going to get the socials and we're going to link up.
Yeah,
after
well,
this anyway, so
yes.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you
come
so
by.
much. It's
We'll do it
wonderful.
again, yeah.
If anywhere, because it's okay to not be there as well.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere online where like our people can find you, or on LinkedIn or
Yeah,
Twitter or
LinkedIn.
Instagram or any of that?
Yeah, exactly. I'm on LinkedIn. Instagram, X, and yeah, so you can see all the work that my guys do with DCEagency.com, where at most trade shows those guys are traveling all the time building booths, but for me it's more about looking after the relationship side of it, and again in that environment as well.
Right.
You know, they're all kind of working. Oh my gosh, you know, but it's just been wonderful. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate
thank you for
sharing
dropping
the
by.
thoughts.
Yeah, no, like you were saying, like it's such a safe space here, and we like talking about it. And I've got to take a minute to plug my boss because he, like,
Please. I was trying to like not be too much of a cheerleader in this
Yeah, I
thing.
know, it's so
Midwich
hard
Group
though, right?
at large is so great about this stuff.
Yeah.
I love
it.
The amount of meetings that he will just like have with me, and at the end he's like frozen because I come from all different angles, and I'm like, I was just born differently, dude. And he's like, cool.
That is
He's like, cool, man.
And he
Like,
takes it in stride.
yeah.
You're wired, going back to my podcast.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah,
You're
yes,
wired differently.
I live
That's the
by
best
every
name I've
day.
ever heard for a
Yeah.
bot. When you said it, I was like, oh my gosh.
Isn't it great?
It's perfect.
It
It's
wasn't
perfect.
my line. I would like to own it, but it's not.
We won't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, editors. Yeah. We really appreciate you being on. Kaz Pearman. We got Louis Robinson. You guys check us out for more AV on the Air, or come see us at booth C8022 in the Central Hall at Infocomm 24.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
That was
you.
awesome.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, that was.